Oh, hello guys, how are y'all doing? Welcome to my new video and yeah, we have a podcast yet again. If you don't know, I have made my first podcast like 2 weeks or in a month ago. I made I made podcast maybe a month ago, or more than that, 1 month and a half. So, and I never made another podcast again. And I was like, I just work out and I'm like I have time so I can make podcasts. So welcome to my second solo podcast. I know a lot of people are gonna hate comment like, oh shut up, nobody's gonna watch your fucking podcast. Who are you? I know I'm nobody. And I don't even care if anybody watches my podcast or not. Uh, I just want to make a podcast and I just want to do what I love to do and I love to talk and yeah, that's why I'm making podcasts. I'm not expecting 10,000 views or any views. Even if this podcast doesn't get a single views, I'm still happy because I put the grind on. I feel happy. I'm not gonna pretend like I am happy every day. No, I'm not. There's some days where really miserable, where I'm really miserable and depressed. But today I am not miserable. Today I just shooted out 2 hours of gaming content. I watched some of my favorite YouTubers, um, and I just worked out and I'm making podcast. So it's been a pretty productive day. I'm really happy to be alive. So yeah, let's start the podcast. So I don't know how to do podcast by the way because I'm a YouTuber. I'm not a podcast. I make video content on a specific topic. So it's kind of weird to make videos without any topic or no or podcast because I specifically made videos. Oh, and my question to you guys: did you see my recent videos of Pokemon, like Pokemon best? Trust me, guys, those videos were so fun to make. Like I'm rating Pokemon Ash's friends and Ash's girlfriends and Ash's rivals, and this is so fun. This doesn't seem like work. It was so fun to make. um, yeah, but yet again we have our podcast. So yeah, comment down below, did you see my recent videos or not? But yeah, but it is what it is. I want to talk about I want to start talk about depression and anxiety because I want to say if you're suffering through depression or anxiety, sorry guys, I just had a sore throat, so I was thirsty, so I just gone off to drink water. Then I'm here again. I'm talking, so I get thirsty really quickly. So yeah, what I want to say, if you're going through depression or you're going to anxiety or this kind of things, that you're not alone. Reach for help to your friends, or even if you don't have friends, reach help to your parents or your brothers or siblings. Just try to reach help anywhere. And even suppose that you don't even have a parent. That's weird. Or maybe your parents are dead, or maybe you don't have any siblings. So what you gonna do? Click 911. If you ever had suicidal thoughts, click that 911. Or sorry, 91. Sorry guys, I can especially say that because this is a mass content, so you might be watching from Palestine, you might be watching from Japan, or you can watching from America. So I really don't know every helpline number of every country, so I couldn't say that. But okay, you can search Google. Go to Google and search helpline in your own country and just reach for help. You have to learn to reach for help when you're so depressed, which is my fault, which I didn't do when I was fucking desperate. When I was desperate, I didn't reach for any help, which was my biggest fault. I don't know, maybe I could suicide if it was, maybe I wasn't mentally so strong. But so my point is, like, everybody has that really dark moment of their life, and you gotta hold strong. Like, if what would happen if I suicided back then you won't see me having fun now, working out or making podcast uh, playing games. So I couldn't have doing this fun stuff if I died and killed myself. That, so don't kill yourself. I know this might sound boring, but this is really important. People can't be killing themselves. In the modern age, like age, I mean the young people, in the youth, sorry, wrong, I chose the wrong pronounce, but in the youth, you know what's the leading cause of deaths in youth? That is suicide. It's so crazy to me. It is so crazy to me that like that is even true, and it's so scary at the moment, and it's so scary. Like the cause leading cause of death is suicide, like which is not even a thing, which is not physically seenable. Like this thing which is suicide, you can even see them. The dark energy, you can see them. So always know that you have to defeat the dark energy, and you have to conquer it. And yeah, so sorry for my boring ass speech, but it is important. So yeah, let's start talking about more. Let's talk about anime. What is my recent anime I'm watching, and what is the old anime I watch, and what kind of anime I like. So if you watch my videos, you would know decently what I like, because I always made videos, or especially made videos about things I'm interested on. And that helps because I have a commentary channel. So this is a commentary channel and a gaming channel. So I have a commentary channel, so you guys don't know my personality, but you guys can get a hint of my likings when you see my if you scroll through my contents. So you know that I grew up watching anime. uh, I have a lot of videos about anime. My recent videos are about anime, which are Pokemon videos. Go see that those videos are so fun. So what's the recent anime I'm watching? The recent anime I'm watching is Jujutsu Kaisen, and I'm a boxer if you don't know. So I've been watching the new anime, not a new anime, but newly I'm watching the old anime of of the greatest greatest boxing anime of all time. Hajime no Ippo. So Ippo is the guy and Hajime no is something in Japanese. So I've been watching that boxing content, boxing anime, because I'm a boxer and I want to see how true it is. And to be honest, it's pretty good. So basically, the plot of the whole thing, without spoiler alerts, by the way. So basically the whole plot of the anime is the whole plot of the anime is basically there's a kid who gets bullied, and is a yeah obviously in school, and then when he gets bullied, a boxer saves him, and then he want to defend himself and gets interested in boxing to defend himself. So from the start, the story started really beautifully. It's a beautiful start of the story, like like him being a boxer, and then wanted to sorry being bullied, and not and that wasn't a bullying though. Like, don't take bullying like a lightweight. That wasn't bullying, that was full assault. Like, it was nuts. Like, the guy was beating his that not even beating the bullies were pummeling his nose, and gushing blood was coming out. So I don't know what kind of bullying is that, but that's not bullying. That's some stupid weird assault. uh, I guess in Japan, bullying happens a lot, or why in these animes bullying are always mentioned. So maybe I'm wrong, I don't know, but I that's my assumption. But yeah, as I was saying, that the anime was amazing. Started beautifully when the kid was getting his face pummeled in, and he was like pummeled in, and he was like, "Oh, I need to learn to defend myself." And it was really amazing and really awesome to see kids actually trying to defend themselves. And just imagine, a big amount of audience of anime are kids. I know a lot of people are going to disagree with this statement, but you can't really disagree because that's facts. Most of the anime viewers are real kids. So that's a fact. So, do you know how much kids are going to get inspired? Do you know how much kids are going to be inspired by this anime? It's to learn boxing. Not only learn boxing, but defend themselves from getting more bullied and more bullied and more bullied. So it's same doing Jake Paul. Jake Paul is doing that again, but which is crazy props to Jake Paul. But uh, yeah, bullying is not cool, man. Bullying is not cool. That show was amazing. I think I watched like 4 or 5 episodes of the Hajime no Ippo, and I don't. I think I'm gonna watch the full series. This is good. It's good. The story is good. The character is good, and most important, the main character is good. So yeah, and I've been watching Jujutsu Kaisen, uh, and that's it. I'm not watching a lot of animes, but that's my current anime lifestyle, uh, or anime life. Now let's talk about my old anime life. I grew up watching the old animes like Ninja Hattori, Doraemon, Perman, Pokemon, Hagimaru, Shinchan. So I love the old animes, and I'm gonna make another statement. Like that's why I don't really want to make podcasts, because all the thing I talk about podcast I can make separate 10 videos in YouTube. So I'm using all those ideas in my podcast. So I can profit more by making 10 videos for making podcast. But I'm making podcast because I wanted to. So let's talk about another topic. I really do think the new podcasts are so much more fun than the old podcasts. I really sorry what I'm saying. Sorry. I really think the old anime is far more better than the new anime. And you can disagree with me all you want, but I really do think that. Um, and yeah, I really do think that uh, because the old animes weren't as cringe as now anime. Now anime, everything is getting cringier and cringier, and it's just a cringe fest, to be honest. It's just a cringe fest. It's not good. It's fucking horrible. The new anime is so cringe, but the old animes were fucking point. The animation was good. The expression was cringeless. So why is that happening? I don't know why is that happening, but that is happening. So yeah, I don't know what more to say. What can I talk about now? Let's talk about my current cartoon life. My current cartoon life doesn't exist. I don't really watch cartoon anymore, but I'm watching Rick and Morty again. That's the only cartoon I'm watching. Rick and Morty. So yeah, I guess I don't know. Rick and Morty is a weird show for me. It's really a weird show for me because sometimes I think Rick and Morty is good, and sometimes I think Rick and Morty is trash. When I think Rick and Morty is good, as in like it's not boring and it's repetitive, and I think it's bad because it's kind of cringe. Yeah, I do find Rick and Morty kind of cringe, so I'm kind of in the middle spot while thinking Rick and Morty is good or bad. But I do like the show. Just because it's cringe, that doesn't mean I'm not enjoyed by show. And I do agree that I do get enjoyed while watching Rick and Morty. I do enjoy, but I don't know if that enjoy makes. I don't know if Rick and Morty has a good story. I don't think so. I don't think Rick and Morty is a good story, but I think Rick and Morty is like comedian. And remember that there was a time where Rick and Morty fans were saying that Rick and Morty is a science show. No, it's not. Rick and Morty is not a science show. Just because there is science and there is fucking time traveling or this kind of scientific things in Rick and Morty, that doesn't mean it's science show. They don't teach anything about science in Rick and Morty, and that's facts. Rick and I would never say Rick and Morty is a science show. That's absolute bullshit. Rick and Morty is not a science show. Rick and Morty, I would say, it's more like almost like a comedic show. It's like comedian over sexualized show, and which I don't like in adult cartoons. Just because it's adult cartoon doesn't mean it needs to be sexual and weird and edgy. It doesn't mean just because adults are gonna watch it doesn't mean it needs to be sexual. And that part I hate about it. But just because I hate that part about Rick and Morty doesn't mean I actually hate Rick and Morty. Uh, yeah, just because I hate that part of Rick and Morty doesn't mean I actually hate Rick and Morty. And yeah, that's the only cartoon I've been watching. And the old times I was to watch it, I want to mention a cartoon, and that cartoon is We Bear Bears. We Bear Bears is an oh sorry, We Bear Bears is an amazing cartoon. It's basically about three bears, three bears who are kind of siblings. One polar bear, another grizzly bear, and another panda bear. They're like from little they are friends. They they are both abandoned and they are both father or parentless. So I don't know what they say parentless in English, but they don't have parents, uh, like their parents. So they are like same kind of. So they call each other as brothers, but technically, biologically, they are not brothers, but they call themselves brothers. Like they have that brotherly relationship. So that show is really cool. It's basically them three brother bears living their own lives with humans, and the huge plot of that cartoon is the three brothers have their own idea of doing something, and that can be a professional thing like business, or that can be a strategy, like strategy, like what they do, or that can be like a TV show, that can be like friends, that can be like relationships. So in different topics they do things, but they always mess it up. So after they mess it up, they get in trouble, and they have their own share of fighting within their brothers. One brothers fight with other brothers. So yeah, that is cool too. But uh, yeah, one brothers fights with another brothers, and another brothers fights with another brothers. Another bridges. So I'm saying bridges. So yeah, that's a pretty cool show, and every episode is different than others. Every episode is like really good plot. So I would recommend you to watch those show. And yeah, I would recommend you to watch those show. And now, like, what can I talk about more? Um, should I give a story time here? Oh, so we are in a podcast. So we are in a podcast. So let's talk about podcasts. So what podcast do I watch? To be honest, I don't watch a lot of podcasts, but I do watch every impulsive episodes, impulsive of Logan Paul's podcast and Mike Malak's podcast, Impulsive, and I watched that podcast. Uh, Pretty good podcast. I have the new episodes of uh, what is his name? Casey Neistat. Yeah, Casey Neistat is in Impulsive. So I'm watching that podcast, and Impulsive is a big inspiration on my podcast too. Like Logan Paul's podcast, Impulsive is so much more fun. Sorry to Joe Rogan, or but no offense or pun intended, but I for me Impulsive is much better than uh much better than Joe Rogan, just because Impulsive seems like a friend's podcast. It seems like a real podcast. It's not anything. It's not uncensored. There, Impulsive seems like a real podcast. It's an amazing podcast. Impulsive is an amazing podcast. It's a crazy good, amazing podcast. Impulsive, um, and Joe Rogan's podcast is good, but Impulsive is like more friendly and relatable podcast. So yeah, I do like Impulsive more than Joe Rogan's podcast. So that's the only podcast I've been watching, and I do watch some clips about Joe Rogan's podcast. And I did watch Joe Rogan's podcast, but specifically, I watched Joe Rogan's podcast on their new guest, or like for example, the Robert Downey Jr. Tom Holland. Tom Holland is not there, but yeah, and I want so bad for Paul Brothers to go in Joe Rogan's podcast. Like uh, that podcast would get a lot of views. It's just happening. Like Joe Rogan loves the Paul Brothers. Joe Rogan talks so positively about Paul Brothers. I love Joe Rogan. I love Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan talks like so good about and real about the Paul Brothers. It's crazy. Oh, it's mosquitoes. And yeah, that's the only podcast I'm watching. And let's talk about vlogs. Which vlogs I'm watching? I'm not really watching a lot of vlogs now. I, I recently, like few months ago, I used to watch a lot of Logan Paul's videos, blogs, and Jake Paul's vlogs, and I love their vlogs, but they don't upload regularly. If they would, I would watch them, but they don't. So Logan Paul, I think yesterday uploaded a vlog, and I watched it. Amazing vlog. Go check it out. So yeah, that's the vlog I'm watching, and uh, yeah, KSA sometimes upload vlogs. Uh, yeah. So yeah, well, I can talk about KSI versus Tommy Fury now. I know it's old news now, but I still want to talk about it again. So because the only reason I want to talk about it again is because I heard. KSI has officially appealed about his about he thought he won, and I'm saying it now. The appeal is gonna get cancelled. It- KSI lost that fight easily. KSI lost that fight fair easily. Uh, in my scorecards, KSI, this was a 6 round fights, and KSI lost 2 rounds, and Tommy Fury won 4 rounds, which makes Tommy Fury the winner. And I'm not. It wasn't a split decision, and I live, and somebody was saying, "Oh, it should have been a split decision." No, it wouldn't. No, it's no. It shouldn't. No, it shouldn't not be a split decision. Why would it be a split fucking decision? It's not a split decision. Tommy won fucking easily. Yeah, the only reason KSI like won 2 rounds is because he had an awkward style, and Tommy Fury needed to figure out that style. So that's the only reason why KSI was able to win 2 rounds. And I'm saying it, the appeal is going to get cancelled. KSI is going to be embarrassed. Like, it's KSI. What the fuck are you doing, man? Like, what the fuck? Your appeal is gonna get cancelled, dude. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, KSI is the sorest loser. I made a video about that too. KSI is the fucking sorest loser. The dude is fucking a sore loser. The KSI is can't you can't take the L. It's funny because he dissed Logan Paul. KSI dissed Logan Paul when Logan Paul and called Logan Paul a sore loser. It's funny because he is being the sore loser now. And Logan Paul lost a split decision. I believe Logan Paul, and that's 100% true that Logan Paul lost because of the 2 point deduction. And it was a 2 point deduction because of a fucking pat in the back. It's embarrassing, and Logan Paul should have won that fight. I do agree Logan Paul's won should have been a split decision, but Logan Paul would have won that fight. So Logan Paul, which is a very close fight, Logan Paul appealed the decision, and he made a diss video about to Logan Paul. But when he lost by a farther farther decision, he lost to a majority decision. I'm talking about the judges book. He KSI lost a majority decision, not even a split decision, and he is appealing now. So he is the hypocrite here. He dissed Logan Paul for appealing, but he lost easily now, and he's still appealing. So, which is absolutely crazy, and like, it's stupid. It's nuts. It's stupid. It's crazy. It doesn't make any sense. Sorry, I just paused the video. So yeah, it doesn't make any sense to me, but yeah, it is what it is. So let's talk about Jake Paul's next opponent, Andre August. I've already talked about it, but let's talk about more here. What do I think about the fight? I made a video, watch that video, but what do I think now? I think Jake Paul is gonna wipe the floor with Andre August. My predictions: Jake Paul is gonna KO Andre August, uh, third round. He's gonna KO Andre August third round. Andre August doesn't make it to fourth round. Third round, it's over. Jake Paul knocks him out cold. So yeah, that's my predictions. And what do I think about the matchup? I think the matchup. I think the matchup is good, but because it's good because Andre August is a 10-1 boxer, really good record. Uh, Jake Paul is a 7-1 boxer, and check all the boxing records. No 7-1 boxer is fighting a 10-1 boxer, and Jake Paul is the A side here. So why he should be fighting a boxer? Like weight concept said, like Jake Paul can fight Jorge Masvidal. So why is not fighting Jorge Masvidal, and now he's fighting Andre August, who nobody knows about? It's a nobody. So if Jake Paul lost to a nobody, then it would be more embarrassing than losing to the heavyweight champion's little brother Tommy Fury. Uh, and yeah, I think it's a good matchup, and I think Jake Paul is gonna KO him in 3 rounds. It doesn't last more than 3 rounds. Uh, and yeah, so let's let's talk about it. And yeah, Jake Paul's gonna knock him out. I think it wouldn't be close. I don't think the fight is close. Uh, and I don't think Jake Paul takes the fight if he was a threat. I think Jake Paul knows he's gonna wipe the floor with it. And yeah, now I want to talk about Jake Paul versus Tommy Fury rematch. because trust me, guys, trust me. I want to see that fight so much. I want to see Jake Paul versus Tommy Fury so much. Sorry, Jake Paul versus Tommy Fury rematch so much. Because I really do think Jake Paul is gonna beat Tom Fury if they fight again. Because the first time Jake Paul fought Tommy Fury, which is like in February, Jake Paul lost. Yeah, but Jake Paul lost to a split decision. And Tommy Fury is boxing since he was like a 5 years old, and Jake Paul's doing this shit for 3 years. So if Jake Paul almost beats Tom Fury and knocks him down, uh, while 3 years performance, I think he now after so many months and almost a year, Jake Paul definitely can beat Tommy Fury. I really do think that. And what do I think about the Jake Paul versus KSI fight? I think that's the most wanted fight of boxing ever. Like this is the most wanted fight, and this fight needs to happen. But obviously, KSI is gonna fight Jake Paul because KSI is scared. A lot of people is saying all those bullshit stuff like, oh, KSI is not scared, Jake Paul's not scared, KSI is also not scared. No, Jake Paul's not scared, but KSI is scared, and here's why. I'm gonna tell the reason why KSI is scared of Jake Paul. The reason KSI is scared of Jake Paul, I think, is the reason because uh because KSI fought Tommy Fury because KSI was like in his mind was like, even if I lost to Tommy Fury, Jake and I both lost to Tommy Fury, so I'm still at the Jake's level. But if I lost Jake man to man, then I just lost to him. So does that make sense? Because that should make sense. So that's how it is. So that's how it goes. So KSI is a smart man. I never said he's not a smart man. KSI is obviously a smart man. So that's why he's ducking Jake Paul. That's why he's ducking Jake Paul. He fought Tommy Fury because and lost, but KSI still can say, "Oh, we are at the same level because we both lost to Tommy Fury." But KSI is smart, but KSI is not gonna man to man fight Jake Paul because if he loses to Jake Paul, he loses to Jake Paul. But if he loses to Tommy Fury, we both lost to Tom Fury. Jake and I both lost to Tom Fury. So yeah, that's the game that he is playing. So yeah, what fight we can see? So let's talk about Logan Paul's future in boxing. What do I think about Logan Paul's future in boxing? Logan Paul's future in boxing. I think Logan Paul, to be honest, should do the WWE and should leave boxing. And I've heard Logan Paul retired from boxing. And I think that's a good decision because Logan Paul's not that good in boxing as much as he is good as wrestling or in WWE. So I think he should carry the WWE, and congrats to Logan Paul for winning the latest US championship belt. He's just made for it. Like I know, everybody who have seen Logan Paul's WWE performance, they can say like he is made for this shit. And are we gonna forget that Logan Paul is a fucking, what they say, a, a state champion wrestler. It's not like Logan Paul is a YouTube wrestler. Logan Paul is a real wrestler. So I think people's kind of ignoring that, which they shouldn't ignore, because Logan Paul is a yeah, a real wrestler, and definitely should retire from boxing and focus on WWE. Well, I do want to see him box again, but that's not a priority, if you get what I'm saying. So yeah, what can we talk about now? Uh, by the way, this podcast is like the second episode is way larger than the first episode. I think the first episode was 24 minutes, 23 minutes, and this episode is already 29 minutes. So it's much longer than the first episode podcast that we made. The thing it's podcast really doesn't feel real to me because I have bigger videos than this podcast might ever be. So it's almost like a video to me. Uh, and solo podcast is really hard because I need to talk about a topic myself alone. I don't have anyone to talk about anything, so it's much quicker. And yeah, it is what it is. Uh, and again, let's get to the topic, like why I'm making podcast. I'm not making podcast because I want people to see. I'm making podcast because I want to kill time, because I am bored. I have worked out I'm bored and I just want to make podcast, and it necessarily doesn't need to be to for people to see my podcast. So, yeah, podcast for my 30 minutes straight. So what can we talk about more? Um, what can we talk about more? Let's talk about the cons. Let's talk about what can we talk about? What can we talk about? Okay, let's talk about the current state of social media. I think in the current state of social media, Instagram is doing pretty good. Instagram with their reels, pretty funny, and the Instagram algorithm is pretty good. And yeah, I've been using Instagram, and it's much better than Facebook. And Facebook is obviously trash. Like nobody who uses Facebook nowadays. Like Facebook is just not latest. It's not good as much as should be. Uh, Facebook is not that good anymore. It's kind of trash. YouTube is obviously the goated best social media goated. Uh, I'm obviously saying that because I'm a YouTuber, but yeah, I'm biased. I'm definitely biased. Uh, TikTok. Let's talk about TikTok. TikTok is doing good. Not better than before, but it's doing good. TikTok is doing good. TikTokers are doing good. Uh, yeah, and if you don't know, by the way, I was a professional musically. I don't know how would I say that, but I used to do musically a lot before 6 7 years ago. It wasn't even TikTok, it was musically. So it's crazy to see because when I used to make musically wasn't that big. Now musically, which is TikTok now, is the world's biggest social media, which is crazy. It's nuts. It's nuts. Uh, let's talk about what can I talk about more. Uh, let's talk about let's talk about Mike Malek and Greg Ball. Sorry, Mike Malek and Greg Ball. Now, this is the old news. Like a year or 2 years ago, there was a conflict with Mike Malek and Greg Paul. And the funniest shit about that is Mike Malek legit thinks that he can beat Greg Paul, the man's man, the real man from Ohio. Mike Malek thinks he can be the real man from Ohio, which is Greg Paul. And to me, responding to that would be, Mike, no, you can't. You cannot beat Greg Paul in a street fight. You are a dead beat. You are a dead meat. You are a drug addict. You are a failed drug addict from Connecticut. You cannot beat me. Cannot beat Greg Paul. There's no way. Many people can say, oh, Greg Paul is old. Greg Paul is old. Doesn't fucking matter, dude. Doesn't make fucking matter if Greg Paul is old. Greg Paul is a real man's man. Even if Greg Paul is 70 years old, he can still wipe the floor with Mike Malek. Even anyone can beat Mike Malek. Malek is a dead meat. He's a dead 40-year-old, sorry, 38-year-old drug addict. So he's not strong. Mike acts like, oh, I'm gonna do this, do this. Oh, yeah, he's gonna throw the first punch because I don't wanna KO Logan Paul's dad. Like, Mike, shut the fuck up. Like, shut the fuck up, Mike. You cannot beat Greg Paul. There's absolutely no way. There's absolutely no way you can beat Greg Paul. The man's man, the real man, Greg fucking Paul. So yeah, Mike cannot beat Greg Paul. I think if George Jenko from Impulsive, George Jenko is like 5'8", like 5'7". Sorry, I think he can even wipe the floor with Mike Malek. Mike Malek, if you're watching this, you're a dead me. But I still enjoy your vlogs because you're good at making vlogs, but you're not good at fighting. So don't talk about fighting again. So yeah, I think I would love to have a break. I've been talking for 35 minutes now. And I don't want to finish the podcast. I wanna drink some water. I'm gonna come in again. So yeah, let's talk about boxing now. Let's talk about boxing. What's going on currently in boxing? Boxing is doing not bad, but obviously the recent biggest fight is Francis Ngannou versus Tyson Fury. So let's talk about what I think about Francis Ngannou versus Tyson Fury. Yeah, I have watched Francis Ngannou versus Tyson Fury like 3 to 4, 4 or 5 times, and every time I watch it, I do think Tyson Fury wins, but I definitely agree it was a close match. Um, I definitely do agree that it was a close match, but I do really think Tyson Fury won. A lot of people are saying Francis Ngannou won, but I don't really agree. But yeah, but if you can have your own opinions, doesn't matter. Uh, and we have, I think the new match is obviously the greatest match, Tyson Fury versus Alexander Usyk. I think Tyson Fury is not that good. I think Alexander Usyk beats him. It's easily. I think Alexander Usyk beats Tyson Fury easily. I think Tyson. What the fuck I'm saying? I think Tyson Fury would be angry to see that. I think Tyson Fury would be angry to uh, hear that, and he would probably call me a dosser for saying that. Uh, you can call me dosser as much as you want, Tyson Fury, but I don't think you win. I think you Alexander Usyk slaps the floor out in it. I think Alexander Usyk KOs him fourth round. I don't think Tyson Fury is nowhere near Alexander Usyk's level. No way, no way. Let's see the fight, but yeah, no way. So boxing is not in its prime, but it's also not doing really bad. Let's talk about UFC. Obviously, the current fight in UFC, Sean O'Malley is doing good. Uh, Alexander Volsavsky, I don't know what president's his name. Khabib, Khabib is obviously retired. Nothing. UFC is doesn't UFC is not doing that good. UFC is not also in its prime, but doing pretty decent. Uh, yeah, that's it. I think. And do you know what I think? Do you know what I think? I think that this podcast was amazing, and this episode was amazing. Uh, yeah. Uh, I don't know what more to talk about now. What can I talk about? What can I talk about? Oh, oh, oh. Let's talk about gaming. What's going on new in gaming? Gaming is doing good. Obviously, the new games are coming, like the Lies of P, and the new Spider-Man game everybody was playing that came on the OG Fortnite. I'm playing that too, and I think gaming is doing not in its prime, but doing pretty good now. 2023 overall was a pretty good year. It's obviously at the ending of 2020 overall. And it was a good year for movies, and it was a good year for movies and television and games. And let's talk about movies with movies. I think 2023 is doing good with movies obviously. I can't watch the Super Mario movie enough. I think the movie is fantastic. I've watched two times the Super Mario movie, really good. I think I'm gonna watch it again, and I've heard that the Legend Legend of Zelda re live action is coming, and I'm really excited for that because I'm a big Legend of Zelda fan. I have played the Legend of Zelda the N64 game Ocarina of Time. I've played that Legend of Zelda, and I've also played the Link's Awakening. But I didn't play the new Legend of Zelda games. I heard that was good, but I don't own a Nintendo Switch, so I haven't played that. But if you have played, then comment down below. How do you think the game is? So yeah, games are doing good. I'm really excited for the Legend of Zelda movie. Really excited for that. Even if it's the live action, it would have, it wouldn't have been better if it was a no, it was a animation, not live action. As you can see, Super Mario animation was so much good if it would have been a live action. But it is what it is. But yeah, I'm really hyped for that. uh I'm really happy to be alive, and I'm really hyped for the Legend of Zelda games. I wanted to play the new game, but I don't own a Switch. So that's the thing. That's the problem. Or that's the shit. That's the flip switch. That's the crazy duo shit. Legend of Zelda is obviously classic. I think I really didn't finish the Ocarina of Time. I didn't finish Ocarina of Time because I couldn't. I'm a really bad gamer, so I couldn't finish it. It was too hard for me. But it is what it is. Yeah, guys, I think I will end the podcast. It was 40 minutes of me talking. Thanks for watching this podcast.
watch my old podcast. So watch my old podcast and watch my old videos. Watch my new videos. I mean, cool videos like this. And like, comment, subscribe, and share this podcast. And share this podcast with your friends, with your family, and all of the people who watch this podcast, or your cousins, family, anyone to share this video or podcast. So thanks for watching this podcast, and stay good, stay healthy, stay happy, stay good, stay happy, and thanks for watching this podcast, and bye bye.